fortune.
Ain't got the energy for that.
So, who's next? My time is
Dispatch another squad.
Ain't got the energy for that. Ain't got the energy for that. Best at what I do.
Watch out! There's an AIM helicopter patrolling the deck! I tried to take it out with this anti-aircraft gun, but it's just too fast! Yeah, at the other end of the deck. But you can't seriously think you're gonna take that chopper out.
Let's move out.
Guess you didn't want a piece of me. mess of me. Stand up. I'm just getting started.
Dispatch another
Oh
squad.
yeah, I'm liking this.
Man down, man down.
Bub, you're a mess.
Okay.
Target in range.
Friend, you never stood a chance.
Boy, am I glad to see you guys. I've been trying to unlock the door to the bridge, but a helicopter keeps strafing the deck. Can you give me a hand? Sounds like a plan. All I ask is that you take the helicopter out quick. I don't think I'm gonna last long out in the open.
Enemy unit sighted. Had enough. I need assistance.
Got it. The door to the bridge is open. Thanks for the assist. I would have been Swiss cheese if you hadn't taken that helicopter out. You'll get no argument from me. I've had enough excitement for one day.
They're advancing.
Guess you didn't know who you were messing with.
be due to the entropy device I've developed. You will remain immobile for as long as I hold this button. I'm afraid you have no other options. Now, to keep things interesting, you'll receive an electrical shock for every incorrect answer you give. Let's begin. How far is the Earth from the Sun? Oh, that was a lucky guess. What is the half-life of strontium-90? No! How could you have known that? Which of the following is not a subatomic particle? Somehow you're cheating! The deal is off! You tricked me somehow! Guards, attack!
Let's move out!
Okay, so who's next?
Oh, you're not doing very well. Get up, or I guess you're not as stupid as you look.
You did it. You stopped the Omega base. Well done.
Guys, that was one for the books. But there's no time to relax. Colonel Fury wants you back at Stark Tower immediately. Stay where you are, and I'll pick you up in the Quinjet.
You did a good job on the Omega base, team. You saved thousands of lives and billions of dollars in S.H.I.E.L.D. equipment. Yes, a device known as the Mutant Amplifier. It magnifies a mutant's natural powers. Until we locate Doom's base, nothing. And since all we're doing is cooling our heels, I want you to investigate a report that there's a riot taking place in Atlantis. See Wyatt Wingfoot, and he'll take you to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s Atlantis outpost. Or if you'd like more information, talk to the Black Widow.
Welcome and good day to you. I am Edwin Jarvis, personal butler to Mr. Anthony Stark. This area is where Mr. Stark carries out the research and development of his Iron Man suit. As you can imagine, the body armor has become so complex that a staff of technicians is required. You may walk around and inspect the facilities. I believe you'll already find several of your compatriots here.
Yeah. The name's Jack Hammer. But you can call me Weasel. Everyone does. Yeah, and don't worry. I came in through the back. No one saw me. Wyatt Wingfoot gave me a damaged laptop. Said you heroes wanted to know what data was on it? Yeah, that laptop holds security information for a building called the Imperium. I can find out, but you'll have to get me the password into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s priority files. Oh, there's 3 possibilities. Jacob Fury, Baron Strucker, or Gabriel Jones. Talk to Vision. He'll be able to help.
I know seeing the Super Soldier Project has raised some concerns about S.H.I.E.L.D., but let's get all the facts before we cause any trouble. I think S.H.I.E.L.D. has a lot to deal with, and sometimes it makes mistakes, but historically, it's done a great job of keeping the peace. I saw they were testing out a new version of the Super Soldier Serum, the same type of drug that gave me my strength and agility. Yes. During World War II, I volunteered for Operation Rebirth. It was a program for creating physically superior soldiers. I exceeded their expectations. Unfortunately, Dr. Erskine, the man who developed the drugs, was killed, and no one's been able to recreate his work. I have to admit, things sound kind of suspicious. Like, why was she carrying that laptop during the attack on the helicarrier? No. I'd need a lot more evidence before I'd say something like that about the Black Widow. Anytime, friend.
I must admit, I find news of a S.H.I.E.L.D. outpost near Atlantis very intriguing. Now I know the extent S.H.I.E.L.D. is willing to go to gather information on countries with closed borders. Indeed, it does. And now I wonder if perhaps S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't have an outpost hidden there. We have the largest deposit of vibranium in the world. To open our borders would be an invitation to those who would conquer us. Over the centuries, fools have tried. But the Black Panther is always there to stop them. Indeed I am. Victor Von Doom has created a sizable army of supervillains. I don't know, but Doom must have a truly grand scheme to risk attacks on the helicarrier and the Omega base.
You are quite welcome.
I do hate to impose, but if you see a cufflink somewhere in Stark Tower, could you return it to me? It was lost by Mr. Stark, and it has extreme sentimental value to him. This is primarily where new Iron Man suits are built for Mr. Stark. Oh, indeed he does. But as his designs have grown more and more complex, he has required assistance in manufacturing them. It was my pleasure.
Whatever.
If you say so.
Black Panther. Colonel Nick Fury. Ms. Marvel. Invisible Woman. Doctor Strange. Ms. Marvel. Doctor Strange. Silver Surfer. Daredevil. Thor. Captain America. Luke Cage. Blade. Deadpool. Spider-Woman. Iceman. Elektra. Wolverine. Iron Man. Daredevil. Ghost Rider. Storm. The Human Torch. Thor. Doctor Strange.
Let's rock and roll, people!
Welcome, my friend. Do you require information? I know it's a name Colonel Fury would just as soon forget. Jacob Fury was so jealous of his older brother's success that he turned to a life of crime. Yes, and to make matters worse, the Colonel was forced to kill Jacob. So you can see why Colonel Fury does not care to dwell on that name. I would suggest you talk to the Black Widow about that name. Namor is the first known hybrid of Homo sapiens and Homo mermanus, humans and merpeople. He can breathe water and air, but if he's away from water too long, he will begin to weaken. As with most merpeople, he has an inborn distrust of surface dwellers, and true to his belligerent nature, Namor can take his distrust to the extreme. The Atlanteans are distant cousins to your race. Having evolved on the ocean floor, it is impossible for them to breathe air. Because they live in the extreme conditions of the ocean, merpeople are very hardy. They are stronger than humans, can swim up to 30 miles per hour, and live to be over 150 years of age. I know it's a name Colonel Fury would just as soon forget. Jacob Fury was so jealous of his older brother's success that he turned to a life of crime. Yes, and to make matters worse, the Colonel was forced to kill Jacob. So you can see why Colonel Fury does not care to dwell on that name. I would suggest you talk to the... I am glad to...
How's things, Spider-Man?
Not so good. I think my costume shrunk in the dryer.
Not much. The serum's only worked on Captain America. There's something very peculiar about his physique. That, plus the doctor who originally developed it, is dead. He'd wind up with a bunch of muscle-bound beasts, just like you saw in the Omega. They're psychotic, violent, unable to take orders. Not exactly what you'd want from an army. Ah, it was no problem at all.
We just received a message from Namorita, the cousin of Namor. Apparently, there is a riot going on in Atlantis, unknown. But for some reason, the Atlanteans have forcibly removed Namor from his throne. Yes, which means something is seriously wrong. See Wyatt when you are ready to go to S.H.I.E.L.D.'s outpost in Atlantis. I would not say that name too loud. He is a leader of Hydra, and a longtime nemesis of Colonel Fury. You should ask Colonel Fury about Mr. Jones. My apologies. I should have given it to him as soon as we are... You are quite welcome.
Well done on the Omega mission. Will you have the same success in Atlantis? Gabe? Heck yes. He's a great guy. Back in the day, he was one of my Howling Commandos. He still is. Gabe's one of my top advisors. He saved me from making serious mistakes more times than I care to remember. You're welcome.
Ah, splendid. You located the missing cufflink. It was a gift from Miss Virginia Potts when she had been Mr. Stark's secretary. It was my
hey, how's it going? Thanks. When you get back from Atlantis, I'll have all the information. It definitely belongs to the Black Widow. It's got her For most techs, it would have been a lost cause, but for me, I managed to drag up a few tidbits of information. Sure.
I've heard people complaining about S.H.I.E.L.D. since we got back from the Omega. I'm telling you, it's gotta stop. I've known her for a while. She's always been good in a fight, and Fury trusts her. Unless that meathead Weasel comes up with better evidence, I ain't believing nothing against the Black Widow. Of course I am. He's been loyal to me. After all the trouble I had with the Hand recently, I owe Fury my life a dozen times over. Let's just say that evil bunch of psychos got hold of me and turned me into their assassin. I caused a lot of people a lot of pain. But Fury helped me out, kept me alive, and I'll never forget that. Sure thing, bub.